Hello, my name is Luann Pites, and I have put together a training here on addiction. So I want to tell you a little bit about myself. So I grew up in Trinity County. I was lucky enough to spend my youth there. In my 20s, I ended up traveling a bit around the world, and then I settled in Chico, where I worked in the field of addiction for 10 years. Now, over this time of working in the field, I worked in a lot of different capacities. So I worked primarily as a substance use disorder counselor, but I focused on some different areas. So I worked in DUI as a counselor where I ran groups and I did individual therapy. I worked for the county in their Suboxone program. I also worked in the drug courts. And I worked in different ways in residential treatment. One thing that I ended up seeing over and over again is this interesting connection between addiction and trauma. And what I found is that people kept coming through my office, and it was really difficult to help them discover what was truly going on inside of them to maintain recovery and distance themselves from addiction. So I went back and got my master's degree where I focused on trauma and how it had affected people in my community, people in Trinity County. So I wrote a master's thesis on Trinity County where I did research in the different high schools throughout Trinity County, trying to discover what it was that made rural communities like Trinity County have such high premature death rates. So, what I had noticed is that people that were my friends were not having their friends that they grew up with die at such a high rate as I had. So, through that work, I discovered that there needs to be a lot more engagement with youth in communities. After I got my master's degree, I focused on trauma and addiction therapy in residential treatment facilities that were focused on addiction. I became an eye movement desensitization and reprocessing therapist, where I worked with people in my private practice focusing on trauma and addiction therapy. And I found that EMDR, or eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, is an amazing way to treat trauma. So now I teach at Chico State and I work in my private practice. So I've put together a training for all of you using my knowledge of addiction and how to apply it through interventions in the realm of crisis. Okay, so here is the addiction course outline. So, this comprehensive course on addiction treatment covers essential topics across 3 sessions. It begins with the fundamentals of addiction treatment, exploring the disease model, substance use disorder development, and various treatment approaches. The course then delves into the integration of addiction and mental health care, addressing co-occurring disorders and trauma. Finally, it examines the broader context of addiction, including legal considerations and occupational fatigue. So now I'm going to show you the format of the trainings. Okay, so here is the first training. And it begins with the title slide, and then I will give some education, and then there will be a video, some more education, and normally there's either another video or I will go right into a skill that can be applied in the field, and I'll go over the skill and how it's applied and why I think it's important. And then I'll give a scenario of what a mobile crisis unit how they might use it, and what it might look like to use it, and the steps to use it. And then I want you to understand too that some of these scenarios might not be a crisis you have or will respond to. So the point of it is to give context to the skill and how to apply it. And then I will end with some sort of key points going over what we talked about. Okay, I was also asked to put together a list of local resources. So here's a list of substance use and recovery resources in Siskiyou County and beyond. It's about 3 pages of different places you can call and what their services are. So I hope that's helpful for you. Okay, well, this addiction training will highlight the intricate connection between mental health, addiction, and effective crisis intervention. Through understanding the science of addiction, recognizing co-occurring disorders, and applying practical skills like motivational interviewing and boundary setting, mobile crisis teams can navigate complex situations with empathy and professionalism. This training highlights the importance of building trust and fostering connection, whether with individuals, families, or communities. By integrating trauma-informed care, resilient strategies, and practical tools like the SBIRT, crisis responders can support meaningful change while maintaining their own well-being. Together, my hope is that these skills will empower teams to address crises holistically, paving the way for recovery and stability in even the most challenging of circumstances. I want to thank you all for the vital work that you do. Your compassion and resilience make a lasting difference in the lives of those you serve. Remember, every small step taken with care creates a ripple of hope and healing. My hope is that through this training, it will inspire you to continue the great work that you do, to stay strong, stay grounded, and continue making a positive impact. Thank you.